So now let's get right into work. Okay, so what am I gonna do with this rag? It is hot out here, boy. Woo! All right, so let me see if everything is positioned well. Camera's a bit off, so let me get that correct. You gotta do it right. You gotta do it right. All right. Get this camera to be positioned correctly. Okay, that's the best I could do. All right. All these tech gadgets are good. So now let's check this mic, see what's up with it. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Let me see what I can do. Press this over here. Mic check, mic check. Because I want to hear outside as well. Because I want to hear outside as well. Because I want to hear outside as well. Yeah, let me know if you can hear outside. I don't think I can hear it properly, whoever's watching. The mic sounds pretty good though, but I want to hear outside as well. I want to get this right. Because I want to hear outside as well. All right, cool. The water out. Yeah, I think that's the I'm the Walla. Shalom to you, my brother. The water for that. Yeah, so let's get it. Let's get right to business, man. On this Revelations, the 8th chapter. So anyway, yeah, with that, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Quadash, and double honor to the elder apostles of the great no stone that have taught us this truth, and to include the elder bishops on down, and Yahweh Shemiel Shai, Barakatham, to the elect, the household of this faith, and it's your brother Laban once again coming at you, man. You know, gotta get into this work. So yeah, I want to get right into Revelations, the 8th chapter. We're going to begin by reading verse 1. So as this reads, when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. And I saw the 7 angels which stood before the Most High. And to them were given 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given into him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayer of all of the saints upon the golden altar, which was before the throne. Now, in the scriptures, it mentions about how in the last trump, we're going to be changed. Okay. And the trumpets just are going to showcase, you know, the various different, you know, plagues that's going to hit this earth, which we know that the main plague, which is going to hit this earth, is going to be the nuclear destruction. So somewhere between the 6th and the 7th trump, we're gonna have to be beamed up out of here, because if not, then we're gonna get pelted by those nukes, right? So that's what John the Revelator is seeing here. And I'm going to read somewhere else too with this. Verse 3 is what I'm getting at. And another angel came and stood at the altar having a golden censer, and there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayer of all saints, which was before the throne. And all of the saints were Israelites. Let's just get that correct first, right? All of the saints ain't the other nations, as well as is written in the book of Psalms 147 and 19, that he showed his word unto Jacob and have yet chosen Israel, right? So the word, what it does is it automatically sanctifies the soul, turning. And there's another two that I have to bring up as well. Psalms 147. Is it Psalms 147? Where it mentions about the saints. Let me see if I could pull that out real quick. I'm going to be real quick with this, Lord willing, right? Yeah, Psalms 148 and 14. Here we have it. He also exalted the horn of his people and praised all of his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye the Lord. So the Israelites are the saints. So the saints, which prayers were raised up as incense unto the Most High, were the elect, because the Lord hears the cries of those that are doing his will, that are keeping these righteous laws and these statutes. He ain't hearing the rest of Israel because they ain't repented. So if they were to pray to the Lord, let's just say if they heard the word and they refuted it, so to speak, but yet they claim to believe in the higher power. There's only one way to believe in a higher power, and it's the way that we believe. You have to follow them accordingly to as the book tells you. You have the accounts of what our forefathers did, and you also have the accounts on what your house died, all right? So those are the prayers being. Read it again. And the smoke, read it again. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before the Most High out of the angel's hand. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. And there was voices and thundering and lightning and an earthquake. And speaking of the earthquake, where it actually tells you throw as a drunkard. Why? Because the missiles is what's this place. What does it mean to quake? Meaning to trigger or to shake. All right. So this whole entire planet Earth is going to be removed. There's going to be certain lands. When I say the earth, let me be more precise. When I say the earth, I'm talking about the lands on the earth are going to move, the tectonic, and then you're going to have the tectonic plates that are going to shift. So you may have all of this drama in the midst when the missiles hit, because you're going to have missiles that are going to be so devastational that is going to pretty much destroy all nations and destroy everything in its path. But it's going to pretty much the impact, that's the word. The impact of the missiles is what's going to move things around. It's going to move certain lands around, right? Tectonic plates being shifted, you're going to have earthquakes and all kinds of things are going to be happening. All right, you may even have lightnings. So when Yahushua said that who can abide the day of the Lord, he wasn't lying, because it's going to be very dramatic. And this is what John the Revelator is seeing. No wonder the prophets, one of them got sick, because the vision was too dramatizing for them to bear witness to. And as this reads, and the angel took the censer and filled it with the fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thundering and lightning and an earthquake. And the seven angels, which had the seven trumpets, prepared themselves to sound. Right. And when you blow the trumpet, right, that ain't nothing that's like easy. That's not something to be playing around with when you blow the trumpet. Because you could be blowing a trumpet, right? Let's just say you've done it for a certain period of time. You can actually rupture your lip. Now there's a particular artist, that I've done some search on a while back ago, and it's his name is as well as brothers know who he is. If I mention his name, what is it? His name is Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong. Before he actually became a singer, he was doing the trumpet. All right, he was playing the trumpet. There you go. He was playing the trumpet before he became a singer. So basically, right, he has this rupture on his lip for so long. Because it's to do with him blowing the trumpet. All right, and you gotta go hard when you blowing that trumpet, boy. I tell you, that ain't nothing light. Right. So the men had to prepare themselves to blow the trumpet. Verse 7. And the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees were burned up, and all of the green grass was burned up. So now let me read this again. And the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood. So what does it mean, hell and fire mingled with blood? Because what John the Revelator was seeing, he was seeing the nuclear missiles coming down. And it looked like hell mingled with fire. And you can equivalate it to the, as I'm seeing it now, you can equivalate it to the brimstones which powdered the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah as well. All right. So what I want to do is I want to go and show you something to the best of my ability. And see, these phones are automatic. And what happens is that these phones, when it gets bright like this, it automatically darkens the phone. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really do much about it, but I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Right, what John the Revelator saw. You brothers can see that, Lord willing. You brothers can see that. So it looked like what? Hell mingled with fire. All right. So now let's get right back to these precepts again. Yeah, so now let me read, let me see what else I can get. Oh, yeah, let me read this too. Let's go into this, Isaiah 13 and 19. Here's the precept for what I just read. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, and the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Just like I mentioned, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed severely to the point where there was no more left of it. And what did it? Again, those brimstones that did it. All right. That's what did it. And you only had Lot and his daughters, which were saved. So let's just say everybody died, and you wouldn't have, again, the nation of Moab. You wouldn't have that. So it was Lot. And of course, I mean, I'm gonna have to go back on that history. I'm not gonna elaborate too tough on that. I'm gonna have to go back in it. But I know Lot, of course, survived in his daughters. Moab and Ammon survived that. And then what they did is, they had, they got their father drunk. We know the story. And they brought forth those people over there, especially in China and Japan. That's why they look the way that they look, And that's why they used to call themselves, the Mongoloids. And also, too, they used to, I believe they still, let me go and check something real quick. Because, again, this is all old stuff, man. A land over there called Mongolia, yeah. The word Mongolia goes back to the word Mongol, because they're the only people with the slanted eye look. All right, which goes back to the ancestry that was done back then. When they got their father Lot drunk and all of that stuff. So that whole place was destroyed. Now, in saying that as well, not to get on that, but to convey a point, you even had an election that survived. So the same thing is going to be out on this side of the spectrum. Yeah, it's going to be terrible. The way the Lord is absolutely angry with what he sees down on this earth. So that anger is going to be fully expressed. You best believe you me. But in that anger, there's going to be mercy. And this is where we come in. That's why we're doing the Lord's work right now, so that we don't fall into the hands of the living power, as it is a fearful thing to do so, according to the book of Hebrews, chapter 10. You know, so once you know these precepts and you have the testimony of Yahweh Shah, which is the spirit of what? Prophecy. Now you understand the severity of what you're involved in. You know, as you should already see it in your mind's eye. In your mind's eye, you should see how terrible the Lord is based on what he did in times past and what he's going to do in the near, not distant future. You know, so when you check it, there's really no falling out. You can't fall out of this thing. Like once you know this, you gotta keep on going. Because you know if you don't keep going and you fall back into the world, you're gonna be a part of the world, destroyed with it. In the worst way. All right. So that right there, again, even though that's bad, you can alchemize that and use that to push forward, no matter what you're going to do in your day-to-day life. Now, let me get back to these precepts. And we're going to read, again, Genesis 19 and verse 24. Then the Lord Yahweh rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from the Lord out of heaven. And it makes a lot of sense in the world why America would have to get, which is known as Babylon, by the way, would get the Sodom and Gomorrah treatment, because it was by the Obama administration, which he was pushing that Moism, as we call it, you know, right? He was pushing that Sodomism. Let me put it that way instead. He was pushing that right there. And basically it became a worldwide thing. And I believe it was pushed around 2014, 2015. You know, that's when he made it legal for, you know, for two foul spirits to do the unseemly and to get married. You know what I'm saying? So that whole knowledge and that the knowledge of just being contrary to nature has been pushed around the planet Earth since then. And as we've entered into the 2020s, later on around the 2010s, I'll have you, well, 2016, 2017, they was really pushing it heavy. They was pushing it heavy all around, and they still kind of push it, but not as heavy as they did back then. It was a heavy push on all that stuff. You know, since 2017, as I can quite recall. So now you have a whole generation that's on that right now. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that whole generation is on that in terms of them living out that lifestyle, but they've been so caught up into that and conditioned to accept it like it's another normal thing, is another norm. And it's not really a big deal. It's not evil and wicked as hell, like how we thought of it when we was growing up, because when we were growing up, that stuff was like way out there evil, you know? So right around that time, right around the 2010s, you had people that was, you know, you had young ones going to school and going to college and stuff like that. And they was coming up into that. So you can't really tell this generation that's now older now, that's in their 20s, or let's just say the mid-teens, late 20s, you can't really tell them that stuff is way wicked, because it's going to be like, well, I don't really see the big deal about it. I don't see the big deal because it's been pushed on the television when I was growing up. My teachers was talking about it, right? And now, because it's been pushed on my throat for so long, now I can accept it. I can look at these people. They're not a big deal. What's the big deal? But it is a big deal, because according to the scriptures, when you do these things, guess what? It can lead to you being put to death in the worst way. And that's that's the major reason. One of the major reasons why this place is going to be pelted like Sodom and Gomorrah was, because of the things that America's been practicing and pushing all over the world. You know? Because it's the same stuff happening all over again. Nothing's changed. Then the Lord rained upon Sodom and Gomorrah brimstone and fire from heaven, and the Lord out of heaven. And he overthrew the cities and all of the plain and all of the inhabitants of the city, or the cities, and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So the point is that all of those neighboring cities were destroyed. is that from state to state, you know, where a state ended and where the last state, excuse me, where a state begun and where the last state ended, you're not going to know about it because all it's going to end up being is a complete desert. So I want to actually get that scripture as well. And I think it's in yeah, let me see what I could do real quick. I want to see something. I think it's in either Isaiah 13 or it can be in Isaiah 35. I doubt it's in Isaiah 34 though. Yeah, so you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Let me type this in. Let me go to the app real quick. Just give me some time. Whoever's watching, if young. Yeah, so let me do this. Should have brought that scripture out. Okay, now let me get back to finding this precept. Now let's talk about something else. Yeah, so I think this is it right here. Yes, this is it. All right, Jeremiah 49 and verse 18. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring city shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. Let's get some more in this as well. Jeremiah 49 and 18. Right. Okay, so that's all it reads. That's the point right there. Yeah, so all of the neighboring cities from state to state will be no more. The America that you once know it as, what you see it as, what you hear about it as, it's going to be absolutely nothing more than just to nothingness. All right? The Lord is going to eviscerate it just like in the times of old of the kingdom of Sodom and Gomorrah because of the great amount of wickedness that's been done. The debauchery, the filth, the odious works of wickedness altogether is why it's going to be destroyed. And let's not even forget the affliction of Zion. All right. Now, let's continue on, Charlemagne. Now, as this reads, Job 18 and verse 15, it shall dwell in his tabernacle because it is brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. So what does it mean that it was none? Meaning he took the land that was given to Gad and Reuben. He stole all of that. They took North America and also Canada, which going way back, that land used to be known as the land of Canaan altogether. And why was that land known as the land of Canaan? Because what happened was during the time of Solomon, when you go into that history, remember Solomon had sent those Canaanites to bring back the various spices and the beautiful birds and the apes to beautify the kingdom. So what they did was they put their stamp there to pretty much declare that was their land. They saw that the land was probably vast as hell, and he was like, wow, like we could take a portion of this and call it our own. You know, because in those times, that land was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It was, you know, it wasn't what you see it today with all of these silly ass cities being set aside and all of this concrete. It was nothing but greenery around. It was a spacious amount of land that was there. So Esau stole the lands and claimed it for himself. And you know, has the audacity to call these lands after pretty much call himself you know, or liken himself, let me use that word instead, liken himself as the original American people. When in fact, they're not the original people. They're not the people that founded the land. The people that founded the land are those North American Indians, so-called North American Indians, which are nothing more than Israelites. And it was told that that land was going to be given to them in the book of Genesis 49. You know, and that was where they had to go to separate from those Assyrians at the time. And it was around the 724 BCE. Somewhere around that time, between 720 to 724 BC, which most scholars point to, is where the Northern Kingdom went to establish themselves as the people of the Most High so that they can keep the laws and all of that stuff, right? But that was all prophecy going back to, again, Genesis 49, all right? How that land would be, of course, for Gad, and also a certain part of that land would be for Reuben. So that land was never his. So what Esau did is he removed the old landmark and stole that land, a land that was not ordained and given to him from the Most High. All right. So that land, because it's not his and he stole it, what is the Lord going to do? The Lord is going to have to what? Pay him back for the wrongs that he did to steal the land, and much more and greater, and all of the spoils that he stole for himself. All right. And then he oppressed those people in their land, put them in reservations, which is nothing more than, as you can call it, the cornering those people in a small little area and treating them terribly, delivering to them the worst food, as you know, the worst food you can even really think about. And that's what he did. He broke all of the treaties and shit. You know what I'm saying? So Esau did every single thing to just get what he wanted out of the end of the deal, right? But then at the same time, it was prophecy, because again, Esau would what? Rule with the sword, take over land that's not his, and that would be what? You could call America, what is it? A land with fatness, with great resources, and plus it was literally fat too, because it was, you know, America's pretty much, you know, a large land, so to speak. And you had all kind of valuables over there, even in South Central America too. I'm gonna have to calm down because it's hot out here, boy. And my ass should have bought me some water too. You know what I mean? But you know, I'll get through it, man. I don't know how I'm gonna get through, but I trust how I'm gonna get through it. You know, so yeah, let's get right back into the scriptures, man. Yeah, so let me read this again. And it shall dwell in this tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. So what does it mean? Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation, meaning you're not going to have those missiles that's just going to hit maybe 3 states or 4 states aimed at. No, you're going to have missiles that's going to cover all of that landmass, and it's going to hit almost every single state. You know? So them brimstones, which is what Job is likening them as, is really the missiles that's going to pelt each and every city nationwide. Okay? So that means brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. And as it is written, his roots shall be dried up beneath, and above all his branches shall be cut off. And that kind of reminds me of another scripture in the book of, if I'm correct, the book of Malachi, where it reads, the Lord will throw him and leave him neither root nor branch. And when you take something from the root, that whole plant you've taken, that plant ain't gonna grow back again. It's dead once you yank that plant from the root. So America's gonna be destroyed from the root of it. It ain't gonna come back anymore. Once the Lord gets done with this place, where it concerns the missiles, where it concerns his return, the fire, he's gonna act it after the mix. It's all over and out. All right, it's all over and out for America. It's destined to be destroyed, as it is written, O daughter of Babylon, which will be destroyed. in the book of Revelations. Yeah, so we done with that. Okay, I read that already. So we done with that. You know, I could read some orders actually. Yes, so let me read some orders. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation, and neither shall the Arabian pinch tent, and neither shall a shepherd make their fold there, but wild and owls shall dwell there, and satires shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And it's realistically in this generation right now, in this particular point in time, her day is near to come, meaning her day of judgment is going to come. But it's going to be what is it? Reading once we go them ships and we come right down back to the the physical realm, so to speak, from them chariots back down here on earth. And that's how we going to pretty much, regulate shit and set things right in order. Set these nations in order and everything. Put them into captivity, and they're going to do the rebuilding. So now let's get back to Revelations 8 and 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hell and fire and mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. So what does it mean? Let me read this again. The first angel sounded, and there followed hell and fire mingled with blood, which I've already broke that down already. And they were cast upon the earth. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to break it again. Now, the hell which was mingled with fire, right? Again, is those missiles. And why did he say also mingle with blood? Because those are going to be the things that's going to pretty much help the people to include. So when people, pelted with anything that destroys, what happens? Blood comes out of the people. Just as simple as that. And they were cast upon the earth, right? And the third part of the trees. Now we're going to get into this now. And they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees was burned up, and all of the green grass was burnt. So what did it mean by the third part of the trees was burned up, and all of the green grass was burned up? Because in the land of America is where the multitude of what the third kind of men were, or are, so to speak. Because you have three branches of men. You have the sons of the righteous, you have the sons of God, and then you have the sons of the wicked one, which is the third men. So the third part of men would be in America. Okay, so that whole entire land is what you can consider the third part. So where it reads, all the green grass is burned up, that's also in relation to what? Revelation the 7th chapter and the first and the second verse. Check this out. And after these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seals of the living power. And he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. So the world war hasn't happened yet. Now we're in the third world war right now. But the thing of it is that the shot, the missiles haven't been used. You have other nations that possess the same kind of power that America used to possess back in during the time of the Second World War, or after the Second World War. Now everybody's their own super. Why is this even the case? Because the Lord ordained it to be so that his purpose stands on the earth. Now, what is it? Verse 3, which is the point now, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees. See? So we have still the servants of our power in their forehead. So when those missiles are shot, everything is going to be eviscerated in its path. The grass, of course, the trees, everything that has life on it or has no life, inanimated object, is going to be totally dissolved, done away with. So we can relate this to what? Revelations, the 8th chapter. And Salaki about that. Let me I didn't really have to do that. All I had to do was go right back at tab. Yeah, so relating it back to Revelations 8 and 8, 8 and 9, Salakia. I could read this. Let's move forward. And the third part of the creature, see, check this out. And the third part of the creature were in the sea and had life died. And the third part of the ships were destroyed. So again, when we think about the third part, is referring to what? The third part of men, which are indeed sons of the wicked. So again, whether the warships, even the waters thereof, which we're going to get into that, is all going to be contaminated because of the radioactivity out of those missiles. Now, back in 1934, America, they were testing out their and it was called I think it was called Agent Orange, right? And it was surrounding this island. It was called Atoll or something like that. Atoll, and it's basically a ringed like island where no one dwells. So it came out that a lot of radioactivity was surrounding that region over there. When you go and show you that when these missiles hit ground zero, they bring out a wave, a wind, and flames come out of that. And guess what? All of those chemicals, those radioactive chemicals, come out of that as well. Okay. So what do you think